black journalists have shown themselves to be untruthful and unreliable because they're biased. They can't put their bias aside. What are we talking about? What are we saying?
Why didn't you address
black journalists, independent black journalists lied and said that they had some secret fucking video that everybody's seen that showed him getting jumped. Videos never produced. The independent black journalists claimed that there was a cleat sharpener used when we know it was a fucking knife. Independent black journalists said a whole bunch of fucking lies.
I want to play Shad's video that he sent because Shad, this is contextual for Nolan Wells, but also how to properly assess the information and how it's like delivered and such, you know, because I like digging into the stuff, right? And I also heard a part of this in Big Aaron, what Big Aaron saying, he can correct me if I'm wrong. At what point does it say, hey, let's properly assess the baseline? Or is it at a point we dick measuring? Because the dick measuring is the thing that would devolve the convo. Right? Is it being done justly to make sure? Or are we just doing it because we tired of hearing whatever's been said for how long? Let me read this real quick. So Shad,
wait a minute.
Go ahead.
So here's a case. I'm reading it right here. First thing, CBS News. So the guy, Vontel Cook was irate when Duncan Man entered story, punched him. Right. Then it says in agreement, he was charged with manslaughter. In agreement to a plea deal, prosecutors consider the totality of the circumstances, including Puyo's youth.
Go ahead.
His youth, lack of criminal history, and the fact that he did not intend to cause Cook's death. All the things that I said would matter. They all brought that. So again, it goes to the point that furthers my point, which is all of these things considered, you would think would get a lesser sentence in this case, like it did with this guy who got called an N-word repeatedly. It's only proving the point that I was making earlier. He had no history of violence, no history of nothing, and they all considered that, and that's why he got 2 years.
So this time,
Cheeky, he used his hands, not a weapon. Cheeky, again, and that's why I say y'all try to make everything the same. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying.
You just did that. Why'd you bring him up?
What do you mean?
You just did that. You just tried to make
juxtaposing it to the Austin Metcalf situation, though.
I was not just opposing it to the Austin Metcalf situation.
Well, you have to. Otherwise, what would be the point of bringing up the points?
My entire point was black people did not see Carmelo Anthony as a criminal, and they were hoping that all of the things, including his character and the character witness, would lessen it. That doesn't mean that they were right or correct, and it's not far-fetched for people to think that, hey, maybe he's got a shot, and it didn't happen out that way. And then you brought up this case, only proving that your history, your character, or whatever the case, if that's not who you are and that was not the intent, they will lessen the charge. You're only proving the point that I was proving, which is they were hoping for something that didn't happen. That's it.
Yeah, and most people get punched and don't die versus people getting stabbed, right? And I know
most people. We already looked it up. Most people that get stabbed don't die.
I know, but clearly there's a higher rate of people getting stabbed and dying than fucking punched, Cheeky.
Did you look that up to know that?
And we looked it up the other day. It's 8 to 10% of people that get stabbed die.
Yeah,
I'm willing to bet I'm willing to bet of the fucking. If I was a betting man, Cheeky, I know it's less than 2% of niggas getting punched die.
Well, let's look it up. We don't know, dude.
As many motherfucking assault cases that's out here, I don't think we even gonna make it to 5% of niggas getting punched and motherfucking dying. Motherfuckers don't hit that hard, brother.
Is eating me up, and so we're going to look at this from a media literacy standpoint, because I saw some really concerning reporting today where a law enforcement official was essentially blaming Nolan for his own death.
Nolan Wells was on a boat. He left from a private dock area in the Ocean Springs area and proceeded with his friends to Horn Island.
Wells was visiting the barrier island 10 miles from the Gulf Coast, boating with friends, last seen about 3 p.m. Saturday.
They left and went back without Nolan. From what we understand, he chose to stay there.
And so I know that the word gaslighting is used and not always in the right way, but this is 10 miles off the coast on a barrier island with his friends who came back. He didn't. They had his phone. They're saying that he chose to stay. Was he supposed to swim? He had no way to call him. They left him for dead. But you have a law enforcement official saying, from what they understand, he chose to stay. He's not saying from what we've been able to determine, what we've been able to confirm and verify. He's saying from what we understand. He understands that because that's what they were told. Why is he repeating what they were told from the friends who left this man to die? Why is he repeating that on national television? Then why is a news organization that has multiple layers of producers as well as a legal and standards department allowing this to be broadcast without pushing back? I didn't even hear the word suspicious in the piece. And I am a Black mother who is at my wit's end with how this country continues to gaslight us and then expects us to stay silent. Because this is not normal. The reporter can only push back so much. So this is not about the reporter. It's about the organizations that handpick the Black faces that then go out and report these stories that are gaslighting to the American public. This is problematic. So this is how I can help by speaking up to say, hey, let's look at this critically. Let's look through a media literacy standpoint. Let's look at the information that's being presented. Let's consider why it's being presented this way, who it's coming from, what's being left out, what questions are not being answered, what questions aren't being asked. This is not okay. This is not how this story should be being reported out. This is the impact of seeing Black and brown journalists systemically laid off, fired, not renewed. Please tag some of your favorite independent journalists below, especially independent Black and brown journalists. And share this video. I'm Janae Norman. I used to do the news. Now I just report the facts and uncomfortable truths. Nolan Wells deserves justice and not to be blamed in the mainstream media for his own death. This Nolan Wells story is eating me up. And so we're going to.
But, and again, what's happened is, especially in the previous case, Black journalists have shown themselves to be untruthful and unreliable because they're biased. They can't put their bias aside. What are we talking about? What are we saying?
Why didn't you address
Black journalists, independent Black journalists lied and said that they had some secret fucking video that everybody seen that showed him getting jumped. Videos never produced. The independent Black journalists claimed that there was a cleat sharpener used when we know it was a fucking knife. Independent Black journalists said a whole bunch of fucking lies. So that's the problem. It's called journalistic integrity. So you can't promote something as to where whenever there's a racial issue involved, there's going to be fucking bias, blatant bias.
Why didn't you?
And furthermore, niggas not having a foundational understanding of the law versus their feelings. Again, just to go back to this, and in this Nolan Wells situation, again, RIP to the young man. But until they do anything and they have a way to prosecute or charge or whatever, now it's this whole thing, right? My understanding was there's video being produced now. He was left there, but it wasn't just them. It was a whole bunch of people. And nobody, why is that context not being given? He decided to stay, not by himself. He wasn't a fucking literal man on an island. He just said he wasn't going back with them. It was a whole thing that happens all the time during the year for that location that everyone goes there and parties and with boats and shit. He decided not to come back with them. Now the details. Yeah, they've literally produced Cheeky. They produced motherfucking. They produced. Well, so you know. So what's wrong with me saying that?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Did you know about the fact that he went to a party later that night and had video evidence or footage of him being with them past the point that they said they dropped?
Cheeky. I have not seen that. So now I'm confused. So now you're saying he did go back with them?
Yeah, that's what's causing an issue. Is because they're saying that he actually did go back with them, and the reason why they couldn't find his body on the 4th is because it wasn't there, but it showed up on the 5th, the day after the fact, and the body was there. The other part of it too was the Instagram. There's an Instagram post, right? This is all, look into it. There's an Instagram post that shows him at a party with his friends and a group of friends at a house party, and he was there, and that's after the 3 p.m. that they said. So you should take a look. There's more information coming out, right? Which is why I refuse it. Which is why I'm not going to give my entire take on it. I just think it's suspicious, and I think she's pointing out something that you hadn't addressed yet.
Yeah, and Cheeky, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting too many different things from too many different people, and and it hasn't been proven that that's the timeline is what the timeline says. Cheeky, I saw motherfuckers produce some shit claiming that some other shit that had happened hadn't happened yet. So I don't even know who to believe or what to believe. And this is the problem with independent journalism. This ain't being reported by the news. This is people that are collecting data and putting it on the motherfucking internet.
Right, but who's saying that they're journalists?
Well,
I'm just saying.
That's who the new journalist is, Cheeky.
Well, no, I don't think she means just a person posting something online. I think she means people that's actually doing journalistic work. Like, for example, you think Nick Shirley is a journalist?
Yeah, Nick Shirley would be considered a journalist. He actually fucking
No.
goes out.
No.
How not?
You think Nick? Why is Nick Shirley not a journalist?
Well, he's not. Well, Cheeky, this is the thing, right? So a journalist usually does what? A journalist usually goes on scene for sure, on scene to whatever topic, say it's an accident.
It has verifiable sources and
it talks to people and interviews people and is on the ground and talking to people and it has some type of thing if they're accusing of what's the name of something, right? And so on and so forth, correct? So what would eliminate Nick Shirley from being a journalist?
He has no actual credentials. He has absolutely nothing. I would say Don Lemon is a journalist. Like somebody
but that's the majority. The new media, most people that are of the new media don't have credentials. Cheeky,
right? And I wouldn't consider, right. That's the point. I wouldn't consider them journalists. That lady gave an explanation, and she gave her reasoning, and she gave her background. She's verified. She has some level of verifiable but a verifiable background work in it. I'm more inclined to lean towards her and her reporting because she has some type of professionalism in it.
Yeah, professional experience and qualifications.
Yeah, so go ahead.
One of the main people that was covering one of the biggest trials, that they don't have any credentials. It was just a person that showed up to the trial. I don't even know what the girl's name is. It was some black lady.
Some girl. Okay, I got you.
Some black lady, but she had millions upon millions of people valuing her opinion about the trial and the case and the facts and the things that was going on.
And I don't know if I would consider that a journalist either. I don't know.
But my point is this: you though, you can't put your standards on the rest of people, and we know the bias allows you to gain a following. If you tell black people what they want to hear, we've seen this even in this space, Cheeky. If you sided with Carmelo Anthony, you check the bag. You are a hero. If you said, well, hey man, all this stuff, I'm just saying the police report said this. Oh, but the police lying. Police lie all the time. And then when all the motherfucking, all of the evidence comes up to the video evidence finally comes out and matches up with the fucking police report, the vast majority of the testimony of the witnesses, even the defense witnesses, match up with what the police report says. Now what?
Yeah, at that point. So I guess you're just highlighting the dangers of her saying independent journalists because we don't know what that really means.
I'm saying I'm not saying she's wrong. What I'm saying is now anybody can be a journalist. Literally, anybody with a camera and a microphone and an opinion is a journalist on certain topics.
Okay, well, if that's the case, fine, I can accept that. Right? We don't know. I would say verify the source or verify the journalist. But the question is, what about the content she was covering? What do you think about that? The fact that the actual thing she brought up. What do you think about that?
No, again, for her, Cheeky, that's a great example. And her opinion is to be valued and verified and all this different things because she has a background. Still, what I'm saying is this: now she's putting in a spin on it because I'm tired of our black boys being this and that and so on and so forth. That's a bias, bro. That's a you can't.
I'm not talking about that part.
Well, hold on. You can't say not that part. You lose journalistic integrity once you put a spin on a purpose, a clearly biased spin on it. You can't have journalistic integrity on that point. Cheeky?
Okay, so what about the judge? How about the former judge coming out and saying that this case is not being handled in a particular way that is pretty typical, or in a way that is, former Mississippi judge. You
talking about the black guy, the black dude, black dude? Yeah, Cheeky. He's not speaking from a racial issue. He's speaking from a legal standpoint.
My point is
I'm just giving you basis for why I say his wouldn't be biased. He's giving you
fantastic. We're not disagreeing. We're not disagreeing.
It's not just for me and you, Cheeky. It's for the audience that's listening.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So they know we're on the same page.
Yeah, I got you. We're on the same page. His experience as a former judge coming out and saying that this case is being handled very abnormally, what does that say about the case to you?
It says that I agree with what he's saying as to where there may be something afoot or awry. It may be.
Now with that being the case, if his expertise and history and professionalism within being a judge himself and a journalism with the same background also saying, hey, the way that these things are being spoken about and the way it's being portrayed by people who have a job to do, this is the reason why Shaw brought up accuracy, right? Because if we do not accurately report or accurately handle things, you can spin this to where those potential suspects or potential murderers will get off scot-free. And that applies to anything that we cover, which is why Shad brought up the accuracy thing. So now that we've gotten some level of concession of, hey, this is being handled odd. We have a judge now reporting that this is being odd. A former news reporter saying, hey, why is he reporting it like this? That's odd. And now you're saying, okay, given the circumstance, there could be something there. That's the reason why Shad said the accuracy in how you depict or even put information out there matters the most. Because we know at the end of the day, a judge and your juries, they can hear facts, but they don't necessarily, they can be skewed on facts if the perception of the person that's on trial is off or skewed. So accuracy is the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the job of the attorneys. You know,
Is to do what?
Skew.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And what does that do if the job of the attorney is to skew, and then the people who are reporting on said thing are also skewing, and now you're being used to help skew the entirety of this situation because of what? For what reason? And that's the issue, Hamp. I don't think Fantastic, because I've known Fantastic well enough. I don't think Fantastic is a malicious player, but that doesn't mean that his depiction or his reporting on things or the lack of accuracy on certain things, maybe not coming from him, but from other people, it's going to play a huge part. And the fact that it plays such a big part, it will also skew or offset the probability of correct justice or even innocence. So whenever we start talking about black people killing black people, in my head, I'm already thinking, okay, we're talking about criminal people dealing with criminal things. And to me, there's not much I can do about that. I can't stop a criminal from doing criminal things. But I do care about black people that we say that we care about and we say we should be uplifting and praising. They die. And we should put more impetus on that because based on their belief system and based on what they say, ain't that many young black boys doing the right thing to the point that it's just worth praising. And if it is, they don't care. Nobody cares about them. So why not highlight them?
No, yeah, that was in the midst of answering my initial question. For sure.
And I had to come.
Go ahead, man. You already messed up my drop. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it had to come full circle. This is the reason why Shad, and if you listen to the conversation in its entirety, his point matters the most. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing we can do about criminals. Y'all keep trying to accept and bring criminality into black culture and saying that's who we are and not separate it. And then at the same time tell us we're the only group of people that accept all our criminals. That's not true. So what? We like hip hop. So what? They talk about degenerate things. I'm sure I can find a rock song or two. Matter of fact, that may be part of my next video too. Finding all the degenerate pop shit that white people talk about and then say they glorify it too. But the second part is we got to stop destroying our own image and helping people that don't need the help to do that. They already don't look at us as good people. They look at us as 1350. Every time something happens, they'll go to usual suspects. Of course he's black. I know he didn't have a dad. What? Look at the comments. You'll see it. You're going to see it. You see it in your own comments.
Yeah, and well, I don't really see on my comments like that. I see more shit that motherfuckers mad at me, cheeky, for saying niggas shouldn't be kicked out of the military for shaving. So again, y'all act like I don't know that it is fucking racist, dumb white people that exist. But you know, again, I'm looking at the thing you were talking about, the photo you're talking about. It was posted on June 27th, bro. It was posted on June 27th, and now, like you said, Ben Crump is playing the same game as to where he's trying to make it seem like it happened after the fact. So no, that's what I'm saying. Ben Crump is a part of the problem. Now I understand. I guess as a criminal attorney, I can understand spending it and so on, but civil, just so you can get a check, and now you're heightening up black people and pumping up black people with false fucking rhetoric and false fucking shit for the sake of what? And it don't help us, bro. That's what I'm saying. He does way more damage, and the only good he does is for himself and maybe the fucking families that get a payout. Ben Crump is not a fucking man for this town. Ben Crump is not a fucking asset to the black community. I can't believe he's even making that argument. I understand that everybody does it, but Gloria Allred is a piece of shit too. Gloria Allred just jumps behind any motherfucking woman that's going to accuse any man of sexual impropriety, and she's there for the fucking check. So I think she's a piece of shit too. Of course, all lawyers have a job to do, but just because you're doing your job don't mean you're doing your job righteously or in good faith. So I understand this. Like, you know, the brother that defended Rick Chow. As much as you may disagree with him, he did a damn good job, and he did his job as a lawyer. People were mad at him for doing his job. He's a criminal attorney, right? Criminal defense attorney. But because he decided to defend, you know what I'm saying? Which we know that's a tactic that's often done. If a man is fucking accused of sexual impropriety, who he gonna hire? He gonna hire a woman lawyer. He's gonna, if it's not his lead, he's definitely gonna have a prominent fucking woman lawyer on his thing. So if you can get somebody the same thing, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's a good tactic. All right, go ahead.
Run! It's a stampede! DJ Ham the Stampede.
DJ Ham the Stampede.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, man. Hit the like button right now if you can. It helps the channel the most.